underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Lots to talk about.
Sounds good. We're
Beyond.
Good. Oh, sorry. Hey, let's do it again.
No,
I started talking.
you don't do the rolling starts anymore.
I never really did. I always just started
you did
recording.
A few, then you're like, we're recording.
All I want to do is make sure that, it's recording and it'll get your first Beyond properly.
All right.
So.
But I want everything we just did. I want to still be in the show.
Oh, okay. So we are just keeping all this.
This is what we do. This is a conversational All right, you ready?
Yep.
Beyond.
Hey.
Oh, come on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Beyond episode 182. I'm your host, Greg Miller, alongside the robot cleaning, Ryan Clements.
Hello.
He only does everything, Colin Moriarty.
Beyond.
And a bitch, Anthony Gallegos.
Yeah. Hey.
What's up, bitch? Let's talk about a few things right off the bat. Colin, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you so sad?
Nothing's wrong with me.
What's wrong? You're usually sad, but you're especially sad today.
I'm just really tired today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm really tired.
Do you think it's from watching Roseanne all night long, every night?
No, I have been enjoying that though. It's been a lot of fun though.
Did you not sleep well last night?
No, I slept fine. I'm just really tired. I don't know. And I'm being guilt tripped today into not hanging out tonight. So
yeah, well, it's a bitch move.
That's kind of the.
I mean, it's a bitch move not to say Beyond when you don't even have a catchphrase for your dumb shows. When you come on here, you want to say Beyond, and now you won't even come out and hang out.
I feel like it's not my place to say it. It's like your guys' thing.
But you're a guest on the show.
And also we encourage other people to say it because it's just a sign of the community. It's like being on the show. It's fun. Of course, if you don't want to, if you want to be a little...
I'll say it on the next one. Just shut up and move on.
Okay.
Maybe I will. No, I'm coming to you next. Don't think you're getting off the hook.
Okay.
Colin, fix you. What's wrong with you?
Nothing's wrong with me. I think it's...
Why don't you want to hang out tonight? We're going to go to Pete's Tavern, which I just won a $25 gift certificate to. I'm very excited about.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I dropped my business card in the little vase in the beginning.
No way. You actually won something from that?
Somebody must have hand-delivered it because it was up I came to my IGN mailbox and it was there. Not with a post stamp on it or anything, just like a written note that I won it.
No, I'm just really tired. I don't want to hang out if I'm not going to be at my best. Yeah. My best is quite exemplary, but
I think Colin got too upset because when I guilt trip him, it's only because I love hanging out with this guy, right? Mm-hmm. I want to see him out. Now, if he really does not want to go out, I would never force anyone to come out and then feel like shit, and then I would just feel like shit if they came out for no reason, right?
Well,
but I just get sad when Colin doesn't come out with us. That's all.
To me, it's just like, there's two things. The first thing was that, in my experience, my friends, sometimes you go like, hey, you want to hang out? Oh, no, I can't hang out. I don't want to really hang out today. Oh, okay. But when it's this, it's like everyone makes plans. Everyone's like, all right, we're going to watch a movie. And Colin, you're coming tonight, right? And I'm like, no, I don't think I am going to come. What the fuck? You're not coming out?
There was a 30-email chain last night discussing what movie we would watch.
I didn't take part in that.
Oh,
chain
did you
until the
not?
very end.
Because I could. Yeah, exactly.
And
what did you say at the very end?
That we should watch Red Dawn.
You said I want to watch. I'd go for Caddyshack, and then you said Red Dawn. At no point did you say I want to watch Caddyshack or Red Dawn. P.S. Not coming. P.S. Don't get your hopes up to hang out with me.
I had made a decision. Yeah. Plus now we know that Levi.
He only does everything. Lets you down. That's what it is.
Well, that is something. But now we know Levi thinks tomorrow.
Yeah, Levi will be here tomorrow. We know. We're going to go out afterwards.
Colin, I think the only reason I said I was frustrated, and you have every right to do whatever you want, especially because you're my buddy, and I will protect your right to do whatever. But I think the only reason I get frustrated is because it is very consistently that you will go home early, go to watch your TV and go to bed, and it's more rare for you to come out. So on the occasions where we do something that's tailored for it's very easy. We're in the where we go around the corner for dinner, we come back to the office, and then we can all go. I can even help go home with you, share a cab or something like that. That's when I get sad that you can't come.
Well, we'll see what happens.
If you are actually not feeling well and you want to go home, that's totally fine.
Oh, I feel fine. I'm just really tired. I mean, what are we watching today? I'm not going to watch some garbage.
I don't know. I forget. I don't
know.
Hill
brought in several movies for us to choose from.
We just want to have fun. Anthony, do you want to stay?
I have plans tonight.
All right, good. So we need to replace Colin. I say we pick up Scott Lowe. He's always down for hanging out.
Yeah, but I mean, we can invite anyone. I
wouldn't have made the plans that I had if I had been included on a 30-email chain.
Sorry about that.
I'm actually surprised that Hill didn't include more people. Yeah, I thought
you know how Hillary is. Hillary starts it, talking to you, then somebody else gets involved, and then that's it. That's how he does it. Anthony, your problem now. What's your deal? You're one of my favorite people in this office, and you treat me like shit all the time.
I poke fun at you because you can take it.
Can I?
Yes, of course you can.
Have you ever looked at Portillo's stomach? I cut him at night for every jab thrown my way. No, I don't do that. Don't do that to your dogs, especially wiener dogs. Let's start the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
Oh, here.
No, you go ahead.
I don't want to.
Let Anthony do it. He likes to read it when he's here.
You want to read the news?
Yeah.
let me see.
Remember, these stories were gathered by the one and only Colin Moriarty. His opinions are not necessarily the opinions of Podcast Beyond. I love you, vegetarians.
Little concrete information is known, but Sony has come under attack by hackers who are angry at the company for pursuing legal action against those responsible for breaking open the PS3 in recent months. This hacker group, known as Anonymous, attacked
Hip Hop Anonymous.
Sony properties, including the PlayStation blog and the PlayStation Network itself, causing sporadic outages.
No one wants to ever piss off Anonymous. Let's be very respectful for them.
Yes.
Because they're very powerful.
Yeah. Knight's Fury wrote in and says, it seems a group of angry hackers have embarked on an anti-Sony crusade and are set to target Sony services, including the PSN Store. Can I get your thoughts on this and what it means for PSN users? Peace out. I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
Leave my bank accounts alone, sir.
It just means that you're going to have sporadic service until either Sony manages to combat it, which I doubt, or until they get bored.
Yeah.
This is also just a lesson to all of us. Respect people that are fucking smart, like Anonymous, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a shitty situation all around. Like, I mean, I don't want people hacking the PSN, but they're mad and they have the ability to, and Sony's slow to react to this kind of thing, and now, you know, PSN's been down, maybe because of what they're doing to it, or maybe because Sony's trying to fix it, and not fun times. Yeah. I'm not worried personally. I haven't done anything to anger.
Sony, being a Japanese company, needs to hire ninja assassins.
That's what it is.
Come here and track down these people. I'm not saying I would condone that. I'm just saying it's just like a huge Japanese company.
Ninja assassins.
Yeah.
Shinra.
Mm-hmm.
Shinra.
Colin, how do you feel about this?
I think it's lame, but I mean, like, what are we really gonna do about it? It's like a group of hackers are angry that Sony's protecting their console, and
I mean, thousands of people. That's really what it is.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't understand why people get so pissy about what Sony trying to protect their flagship hardware from being broken open. You know, like, I don't really understand why anyone would be mad about something like that. You know, they're trying to protect the user experience.
More importantly, if these people care so much about the Sony platform and stuff like that they want to protect, and go like, I can understand, like, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I can understand why they're trying to, like, uncover information about, like, Sony executives and stuff, right? They want to, like, fuck with those people on a personal level.
Yeah.
Okay, those people represent that company, but when you're messing with the PSN, you're just hurting other people who are
Other
just
players.
like you.
Yeah.
They just want to play their games. Yeah, that just seems wrong.
I don't think it's
like you're not winning any I don't think to myself, man, those Anonymous guys are good guys. Like, when I can't get on PSN, I'm like, fuck those guys, man.
Yeah.
I don't have, like, good feelings about them, even if I can understand.
I mean, this whole thing is that, in a way, don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing this to anything globally. It's terrorism, right? Like, it's cyber terrorism. They're just totally bullying around and fucking things up, trying to get people to listen, which doesn't make people listen. It just makes people not like you and not want. They could be making whatever point they want to make, Anonymous, and by doing this, they seem like a bunch of assholes that nobody wants to listen to.
That's the thing. They can do it, but there's more constructive ways to do it,
exactly.
or targets they could have taken on that would have won more people to their cause.
How's Sony going to respond to this? They can't just say, okay, you guys are right now. Anytime you want us to listen.
That's the exact thing. Is like, so, like, what do you do? Like, what ends are you trying to achieve? Like, if Sony's
want GeoHot, like, what? They want him not released from jail, but they want the charges dropped or whatever, right?
Well, that's not going to happen because Sony has nothing to lose by trying to make an example of the guy. Yeah. You know, and they're going to proceed. And like you said, like, there's really no end game. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like Anthony said, it ruins the experience for millions of people that want to be on PlayStation Network. It pisses them off. They didn't do anything. You know?
If anything, it's going to make a jury have some sort of negative association with GeoHots as being somehow associated with people like this. Yeah, he's somehow a part of a community that would do something like this.
It makes the whole situation worse or whatever. I mean, in many ways. I mean, and also, like, I don't think it's cool that they're going after, like, Sony executives, finding out where they live, finding out their children's name, all that stuff. That's sick. Like, it's a fucking. If someone hacked a PlayStation 3, Sony is suing them, and now we're going to go after people personally. Like, that's cool.
That's dumb.
Like, that's okay.
I'm not saying that's okay either, but I'm saying.
That makes more sense, for what you're saying, for what they're trying to do. In a terrorist, crazy world,
yes,
that makes more sense
than harming a random user experience.
I don't know these guys. I don't really care. It's just like, I don't really understand the point of trying to do that, to try to ruin the user experience for everyone to make a point that you're not making. Because if you read the comments on any story about this anywhere on the internet, everyone hates them. So it's like, there's like very few people that are like, oh, they're doing a great thing. They're like, no, I wanted to download fucking Red Faction or whatever yesterday, and I couldn't get on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I didn't do anything. And most people, vast majority of people that use PS3 are honest. they buy their games and they support Sony and what they're doing because Sony's trying to protect their hardware and trying to protect, a legacy, a PlayStation legacy.
So do you give any validity? This is something I've never looked at a PS3 or anything I've ever bought. Like I've never looked at my toaster and been like, I own this toaster, so now I can make it into a microwave. That's basically the argument people have about the PS3 is that they own it, they should be able to do whatever the hell they want to it and make it run Linux or in the extremes, work a Kinect or whatever all this other crap.
I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem stems from the user agreement you sign when you go on PlayStation Network. And since it's distributed and the hack is online, I think that's where the crux of the issue lies. I don't think anyone's saying you can't do XYZ to your PlayStation 3. I don't think the problem even is that he did XYZ to his PlayStation 3. The problem is that he distributed it, and told people how to do it, and that's the problem, So, and I think that is a huge problem. Sony might not win, but they're trying to make an example, just like the RIA tried to make an example of people, with Napster and all that stuff. And even that guy got like house arrest for downloading like Hulk off of the internet and stuff like that. Like they're trying to make examples of people, and to be fair, RIA did in a way successfully scare the shit out of people because people were getting letters in the mail saying like we're suing you for $1.5 million per song you had. On your computer or whatever. So these guys are trying to do the same thing, and I don't blame them. And I think it's just juvenile and stupid to try to like ruin people's experience to try to make a point. That's not going to work. Yeah. So, like you said, Sony's not going to be like, oh, you guys win. You're attacking the PlayStation Network. There's smart people at Sony. They can, I'm sure, fix the problem, and they'll go back and forth and it'll be tit for tat like it's been with other things. And that's
I feel like there's so many more genuinely conflicting moral things that the talented people at Anonymous could be applying their things to.
Of course.
Like, how about instead of, fucking with Sony over a video game console, you guys fuck with somebody that does something actually genuinely evil in the world?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Microsoft.
No, I absolutely agree. Those guys do have like legitimate, obviously have very legitimate skills.
Oh yeah.
And like that's great. So like why? It's like one of those. It's like a comic book. It's like why don't you use your powers for good?
They call me Mr. Glass.
There are actually there are actually like awesome things that they could be doing. Like there are real cyber terrorists out there that are causing severe problems for innocent people. Fight them. And then that would be awesome.
Princes in Nigeria, they've had their chance.
or horrible corporations who actually do horrible things to people instead of like just pressing dumb charges about a video game console.
That only happens in video games. There's no corporation testing on people.
It's at the end of the day, it's stupid. It's a waste of time.
Anyways. Apparently, Sega released a new trailer for a new Sonic game, Sonic Generations, that no one will care about. It will arrive on PS3 and 360 later this year.
Oh, so now Anthony Gallegos is putting his opinion in there.
Now we're unsure what the spin is. Is it my spin or Anthony's spin?
It's my spin.
It's the spin zone now. We're spinning left
and right.
But
there's one spin and another spin cancel each other out.
Because honestly, the only people that are going to care are the people that are going to write into Beyond and be like, Sonic, but you should check out my DeviantArt page where I draw pictures of me and Sonic fucking.
You weren't.
Wow. Jeez.
I will check out that page, ladies and gentlemen.
You weren't on Beyond when I talked about how bad Sonic sucked, and I made people write in and tell me.
Sonic does suck. Because Sonic hasn't been good for years.
Sonic has never been good, and that was my argument. Was I wanted people to, because Sonic 1 came out on PSN, and I downloaded it. I'm like, this game's clunky and it sucks. Like and it sucked the last 10 times I played it in my life. So why is everyone so excited about Sonic? And some people wrote in, some people supported me, some people didn't.
It's crazy.
You're not alone.
It's crazy nostalgia, man. Go back and watch things that you thought you used to love, like Thundercats, and you realize how terrible of a cartoon that was too.
It is, but it isn't, because you go back and play a game like Super Mario World, and that game's still a 10, and that makes Sonic look even worse since they're contemporaries. So that was my argument, nonetheless.
You have a good argument. I did, like I said, when I downloaded it for free off PSN, I was like, oh man, I don't want to play this anymore.
Game's balls. And Sonic 2 came out for PlayStation Plus on Tuesday.
Yeah, that had tails.
And I was like, I don't even really care. Yeah, I'll get it eventually, but it's like, when Sonic came out, I was like, I was excited. Maybe I'm going to give it another chance. It's up to Sonic 2, whatever.
Right. Good feelings all around, folks.
Battlefield 3 comes out this fall.
Yes, it does.
And it's going head-to-head with Activision's new Call of Duty project. EA's CEO, John Riccitiello, said this about Battlefield 3 and Call of Duty. This November, we're launching Battlefield 3. It's going up against the next Call of Duty, which is presently the #1 game in the game industry. A game that last year did $400 million revenue on day one. Battlefield 3 is designed to take that game down. There will be a couple $100 million of marketing between these two products going to head-to-head. We think we have the better product. Everybody loves the heavyweight fight, and that's what it's going to be. We're here to compete.
I like that.
I thought that was interesting.
I like laying it on the line. Why not?
I'm sure that they want to compete, and I'm sure that Battlefield 3 will be a critical and financial success, but I don't think
it's not going to be Call of Duty.
No,
not
it's not going
financially.
to do those numbers, but maybe this is the year they do They come out swinging now, right? So now, hope a regular Call of Duty fan saw that headline and clicked on it. Who doesn't read everything on IGN, doesn't listen to the podcast, and now they know about it, right? So it's a war of attrition, little wins here and there.
I was playing Black Ops last night, and I don't know.
Too black for you?
No, that game.
Too many ops
that
for
game
you.
is slowly but surely not.
Too many Black Ops.
That engine is really starting to show its age.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, it was mind-blowingly good or whatever. Like when Modern Warfare came out, we were like, holy shit, that game looks amazing. But I don't know. I think that they need to start making sacrifices to take that game down to 30 frames a second in favor of better-looking stuff.
Interesting.
Here's the thing. Here's the wild card about the new Call of Duty is that Raven, developer of 2010 Game of the Year Singularity, is working on Call of Duty, and that could push the scales.
I think we've already decided. Remember, it's going to be 2D, and you're going to have the Singularity hand, and you walk in, you rewind time, and you fast forward time. Oh, these dilapidated stairs.
teapot.
Wait a second. Now I'm walking up rail stairs.
I totally
Go back
forgot
to
about
the 30 versus 60 frames a second, though, to make it a PlayStation valid point. That is what Insomniac realized as well, is that the love
For
of 60 frames a second is hurting what they could be doing visually. And, I think that that's something Call of Duty needs to realize, too, because games like Battlefield and Crysis and stuff are just, like, setting a bar that's going to make people be like, why does this game still look like this? I don't know.
Interesting.
I mean, it's based off of the Quake 3 engine. That's how old.
But everybody loved Quake.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Well, hey,
True.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah, no one's going to love that.
Speaking of which, we had a fan write into Beyond at IGN.com to be part of the show, just like you can do it. His name is Dustin. Hey, fellas, Beyond. Love the friggin' show. But what's up with you guys not giving Duke some much-needed love? Yeah, I get the fact that Duke Nukem Forever has been in development hell for an absurdly long time, therefore it can't possibly live up to the hype, and honestly, I'm not expecting it to. I'm starting to tire on all these serious military shooters, and Duke just looks like a nice, fun change. Do you really think the game is going to suck nuts? Much love, Dustin. Anthony, is it going to suck nuts?
I don't get offended by that many things, but Duke Nukem even has one thing to me that I think is like horribly offensive.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
Lesbians in
Let's
the
hear it.
vibrator?
No, it's like the multiplayer in it where you have to like capture the girl and bring her back to your base. Like it's like capture the flag, but you're trying to get.
I haven't
a
heard
woman.
about this one.
And when she gets like too uppity, basically you like slap her to quiet her down.
No
and so
way,
you keep
really?
going. This is what I totally.
Really? Oh, that's bad. Are they
It's a
crazy?
video game. Come on, man. We can't be so sensitive that. To be fair, to protect Duke, it isn't supposed to be an over-the-top license. He's supposed to be a womanizer and all these things, and like it's just one of those things. I mean, I don't think we should be any more offended by that than the no Russian level in Call of Duty. That's more offensive than that.
I thought that was offensive too, but I do think that there are certain things that shouldn't necessarily be tolerated. Just like if a game had a character that just decided he wanted to call everyone a nigger, like I wouldn't want that either.
But you wouldn't tolerate all right. So I don't disagree with you, but then you don't support a movie like American History X.
No.
See, here's the
it's trying to make a point, but I don't think this is trying to make a point.
Exactly. Here's my point: is that you're talking about different weights of things. Also, the topic of the week. The Russian airport level. That's trying to be very serious and very real. Whereas Duke is totally a parody of everything and being stupid, and yada yada. So we're gonna parody, abuse against women, like a dude who's just gonna hit a girl.
I don't know. I guess I'm just not that. I mean,
if it was Homefront,
yeah.
and you were being tortured by a Korean woman, and you got up and hit her, okay. I understand the juxtaposition of what's happening there. Why I'm doing that. What this is. Here you're hitting somebody. And not only. I haven't played the level. This is my first time I've heard about it. But if it's just that I'm carrying her to my base and she's talking too much or being too stupid, that's just offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't agree.
Colin is right in that any fiction should be allowed to be created.
Correct.
And as long as
I agree with that. I'm not
it's
saying they shouldn't be able to create.
Right. And as long as it's sort of protected and it's being distributed to the right people at the right age with the right mindset, that's all fine and everything. But yeah, it totally depends on the context of the situation and what it is being intended for. If I think something like. Are you talking about the airport level where like you're like a faux terrorist or something?
Yeah, you have to act like you're a terrorist and mow people
like
down.
that. I mean, to me, that has like a real emotional, context, and it's
There's a
actually
hook to
it's
that.
trying to invoke something in the player. Whereas what is trying to be invoked with abusing a woman because she's talking too much?
I don't know. I haven't seen it either. I mean, this is the first I've heard it as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just don't believe in any form of censorship, really. I mean, it's a piece of fiction. It's a work of fiction.
I don't think anyone
nobody's saying it should
thinks
be
it should be censored.
Yeah.
It can be released. As far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, the KKK could release a DVD that tells people that,
I think they've done that.
yeah, that's
I
fine.
think they've released DVDs.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah, I don't believe in censorship. I'm just saying I personally find it.
I think that's I
I
think
mean,
that's
all right. So
really stupid.
here's where I stand. It's like there are all these awful works of fiction that we've read and seen and played.
Grapes of Wrath.
Grapes of No, that's just boring.
Oh.
I tell you the story about Grapes of Wrath. My sister's like an English teacher, and she has her master's in literature or whatever, so she has like a bunch of those books that are in her house. And when I go there, I always like read random books or whatever. And Grapes of Wrath is one of those books where like every time I go there, I just pick it up and I read it in 20 pages, and I'm like, this book fucking sucks.
It's very slow.
Like this book
very
is
slow.
so bad. I just can't get through it.
I like Of Mice and Men.
So it's not that I don't think that any work of fiction should be able to create it. It's just that it's a work of fiction that we're regularly featuring on a website that I'm associated with. That,
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point I was making was, in a sense, is that, so all these offensive works of fiction exist. Like, I brought up American History X. That's a super offensive movie. But it's a movie, and it's not you. So, I mean, as long as you're not doing all of these things, as long as you're not hitting a woman, that's all you can control. It's the power
But
of
you
intention.
are. I mean, it's first-person shooter.
But so then,
like in American History X, you're not making the choice. I'm saying that as me, I don't want to play a game where I would be hitting my character.
But you do want to play a game where you're mowing down civilians in an airport.
Of course. I'd like to do that in real life.
Which is worse, though. I mean,
make some
obviously one is
fucking
worse than the other. So you're basically just pointing out something that's really much less severe.
I'm talking about the Greg Miller line in the sand, not whatever line for everybody else.
So the Greg Miller line is saying is that you would take an assault rifle and kill children in an airport, but you wouldn't hit a woman. I say I wouldn't do either. But in a video game,
Well, I was
maybe you do
joking
both.
about really doing it in real life.
I'm just saying.
I don't really want to mow people.
Obviously,
in the airport.
but I'm saying,
But that
I
was
think
crucial
it's
to the
straight.
story. That made sense for what was happening in that story. That was one of the best parts of that game, is how they set all that up, and it made you didn't have to shoot anybody, but you had to act like you were one of these terrorists, and you had to make your way through just to, spoiler alert, get killed at the end anyway, because they knew. Whereas this is, according to Anthony, based on the 2-second snippet we have from him of what's happening, just a stupid multiplayer game where I'm just running someone across the map and hitting her.
It is.
I would have the same argument. I mean, I guess in general, I can't even. I wouldn't be as like that sounds. I wouldn't be offended as like I don't want to play that kind of thing if it was just, I guess, dragging some dude around and he was doing it. You know what I mean? But this is the position of power, right? Like, I would be offended if it was some very stereotypical homosexual person. You know what I mean? As the way that I'm sure the Duke universe would picture a homosexual
Represent
person.
that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then I'd be offended. If it was Duke carrying a Duke clone, then that's stupid and that's goofy and that's what the whole world's about. I think the whole. I'm not a Duke fan, as we know, and I think just the whole beginning section of like he getting a blowjob from 2 girls, which makes no sense. But then he comes up, how was the game, Duke? And like that whole thing sounds stupid. And like that,
Dude, I don't think no one's disputing that game.
You've been saying Duke is Steinbeck.
Yeah, yeah, because they both
all
suck.
the time.
But no, I don't know. I'm not disagreeing with you that Duke looks fucking awful, because I don't think that game looks fun at all,
Yeah.
and I'd have no desire to play it.
I mean, in general, I think we on a lot of ways here are all on the same page. We sound like we're disagreeing more than we are. Like, nobody here thinks that we should have censorship.
Correct.
Personally,
I'm like, that sounds dumb, and I don't like that.
I just don't have much of an interest in playing.
I guess I just don't get offended by anything in the fictional realm because it's
it is in fact
because
fiction.
it's fiction. Like I get much more offended by things that happen in real life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I trust me. I'm acting like I'm like super offended by this, but I'm much more in line with you, Colin. Where like I see things all the time, and my knee-jerk reaction is to eye roll, like, oh Jesus, this is what you're offended about. This is what you're offended about.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But that was just one that I just heard, and I was like, just seems. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, SOCOM 4 public beta is underway. Previous only PlayStation Plus subscribers and gamers who received a voucher with their copy Killzone 3 were able to play. Now, everyone with access to PSN can get in. The public beta began on April 5th and will run through the 13th. SOCOM 4 is set for release on April 19th. It's not a beta. This is so close to release, it's not a beta. It's a demo.
Well, they'll have patches probably, but
Yeah, it's just test, network stress, see how to do this.
I mean, I've
fix that.
even heard developers say at this point that there's no such thing as betas anymore. They're just demos. Because that's how they have to think about them. Because people that are playing their games, it's not like back in the day where when it was like in the PC world, you had to like know where to look on forums and stuff to be like, oh, I'm going to beta test this cool game that's coming out. Yeah. Now they make it so publicly announced and available that it's like the game has to be polished enough that they know this is what people are going to be judging their purchase experience on.
And also how many people go through the proper channels, right? When you sign up for one of these, they say, hey, please come to, whatever forum to tell us what bugs you see and yada, yada. Nobody does that. They go on Twitter and they're like, man, this fucking sucked and this blah, 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 and then they forget about it.
I'll tell you what, I'm not a SOCOM fan at all.
Have you played the new one? Any of it?
No.
I'm excited for this new one.
The first one, I actually bought the network adapter and SOCOM, and then I just brought it back.
I meant this one.
So yeah, that was on PS2, and I didn't really care about it.
Yeah, me and Poe tried to play that. It didn't work out.
But I have seen. I mean, what I've seen, I guess the general consensus is that it's not very good. But I don't know.
What?
That's what I've been reading on the boards. There's myriad complaints.
Our boards or the SOCOM boards?
No, like the SOCOM boards. We're on Twitter and all that
SOCOM
stuff.
boards
The
are
SOCOM
full
so
of
the
people
thing
who
about
are
SOCOM,
very mad that it went away from
I was going to say, the thing about SOCOM 4 is that, they are definitely trying to make this a little bit more accessible to a much wider audience because the amount of money it takes to make a game like SOCOM, the SOCOM audience can no longer fund that. Like, that's just the realities of the world. But I've played it, and I played the cooperative with you and stuff, and I was thinking, this is really fun. To me, this is, and they're like one of the few games that are still out there that are allowing you to command squads. Like, squad command games, it is a very niche sort of thing that only certain people really love, like myself. But, man, it is woefully underrepresented at this point. Like, even the new, Ghost Recon game isn't going to really have squad commands. It's just going the way
I've always like almost fantasized about a game where it's
I want to know your fantasies.
Yeah, you do.
Tell me all your fantasies.
It's a cooperative shooter, right?
Uh-huh.
And to actually find a group of people that are fucking smart and coordinate all the time, as in like stay in like a tightly like move together, like actually like say like, all right, you go, and then they go around the corner, and then they're like clear, and then they actually like act like a real fucking squad, as opposed to 99.9% of every online experience I've had where like, hey, let's work together, hey, cool, and then everybody just like goes everywhere. Someone will steal the jet, fucking fly through the air, like whatever.
They do a barrel roll and eject
and the jet just fucking explodes, and then you're like, oh my god, people, do you know how awesome you would win if you actually just really coordinated, and not even like a skilled team that is just generally good and tries to help each other some of the time. I'm talking like real coordination.
I can tell
like
you
constantly speaking.
A game that's done this, and it's
You can
called,
tell me.
Yes,
I'm ready.
It's called Left 4 Dead.
Oh.
And that is a game that has done that.
I don't know about that.
Oh man,
We don't know anything about that on this podcast.
I do. I play a lot of them.
that game requires a lot of coordination.
Like constantly,
Constant coordination. You can play it if you want to fail over and over again, but to have any modicum of success, people do. Even when I've just played random games online, people talk and they're like covering each other's back,
which is a good step,
healing each other
for sure.
Like,
but
a
it's
smoker
just,
got me. A smoker got
I
me.
guess
it's the first game where your success is going to be based on how well other people are doing. In my opinion, it's one of the only games that really does that. Like, because you're right. Most online shooters and stuff that are cooperative, you're right. The first thing everyone does is like, yep, see ya. Gets in a tank, and you're like, hey, wait for me, and they're just like, nope.
I wish we were a video podcast so everybody could see Anthony's impression of that.
Oh, man.
The last squad-based game I played was Rainbow Six 3 on Xbox, and I played it a lot. And I used to just kill my squad off in the beginning of every stage when I played single player.
I remember you telling me about that. Like, yeah, this will be easier.
It is. It's much easier. The game was much easier by myself than with my squad, I thought. But that was kind of why I think what Anthony's talking about is, and you're talking about too, is a game that requires more cooperation.
And that's the problem you come back to with the PS3 is that it wasn't packaged with a headset. So
Thank God,
the majority of, but then it sucks for games like this or any game where you do need to talk.
Yeah, don't thank
people.
God the fact that we got less than what other consoles are getting.
I think it's great. I mean, for most games, I think it's awesome because you don't have to deal with people talking to you.
Well, how about this? You don't plug in your fucking headset.
I don't on my Xbox either.
At least like if we got one, we would have the option if we want to use it. You don't have to like plug it in if you don't want to.
There's so many people who don't have headsets, and then the complicated system of setting up a headset is such a
true.
pain in the
When
ass.
we used to play Killzone 2 online, me and my friends, we used to first join a group chat on Xbox Live.
A lot of people do that.
And then switch channels to our PS3s, and then have our Xbox
Oh my
controller
God, that's so embarrassing.
I don't know, dude.
When I was playing DC Universe Online, I'd Skype. I would Skype over that because it was everybody knew how to use Skype, and not everybody knew how to use XMB.
I just think, I think we should be a little more thankful that PSN's a little cleaner. That's the only reason it is. So.
Cleaner?
I
How
refuse
so?
to be thankful.
Because when the 12-year-old boy who likes to yell insults plays on Xbox Live, he's got his headpiece, but he might not even be able to afford a Bluetooth or a headset for PlayStation 3 or whatever. That might not even be in the calculation for what he's got to get, and that's not the option for a lot of people on PS3. That's why when you play a game, no one's talking except for in certain games like Killzone, people talk.
I think that's one of the reasons the PlayStation 3's been held back, though.
But on Xbox 360, I can set my default things to I don't hear anyone who's not on my friends list.
Exactly.
And then I can choose to unmute people on my team.
I think that's why you see more of our office. On top of the fact that 360 had a lead time and it wasn't $1 million when it came out. I think that's one of the everybody who when there's a line when you talk to people who like, oh, I play 360 primarily, why? Oh, all my friends are there. They want to be able to talk to their friends.
If I'm going to play an online multiplayer game, I don't buy it on PS3.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
I mean, you and I, Colin, are big multiplayer people to begin with online. So, I mean, that's,
I like just text messaging with you anyway instead of talking online.
Okay.
This past year, EA pulled the plug on their basketball game NBA Elite 11. Didn't even come out, even though the discs were pressed.
Yeah, some people have copies of the game. That's the craziest part is that copies of the game are out there. People had pictures on message boards and stuff of it.
NBA 2K11 ended up selling extremely well and met great critical success too. But a little competition is good for our industry, and EA has announced that NBA Elite will return with NBA Elite 12. An additional announcement regarding EA's NBA titles was made as well. NBA Jam On Fire Edition will be released this October.
That's awesome.
Does anyone here like basketball games?
I have 2K11, but I have not played it yet. I want to. It looks awesome. I think it's we're doing this the old Podcast Beyond 3 weeks running joke now of extending the tape measure as far as you can. It's over. It's past It's past Anthony's head.
It's not break. It's good.
Oh, it finally broke. How far did you get?
I got to 7 feet without it going.
I think it's
that.
one of the best stories of last year though. That whatever. I always forget which one did what. But 2Ks came out. And it was so good that EA's like, well, fuck this, can't put out our game.
I think it was a really nice move. They obviously ate a lot of money on that, but I think it was the proper thing to not turn people off to their franchise entirely, and then come back. NBA 2K is clearly I remember when Nate was here and he was playing the game at his house. I was there and he was playing. I was like, this game looks awesome because I haven't played an NBA game extensively since NBA 2K.
Yeah, the animations and everything make it look like real TV from far away. Like if you just walk through the room,
totally.
oh, it's TV.
It was really cool, and there was a lot of I really like the immersion in it, TV. And like the Michael Jordan stuff, like trying to recreate the Michael Jordan moments and stuff. That was really cool. There was a lot of thought put into that game. So, but competition's good. It's the one reason why Madden is, frankly, a subpar game now is because they don't have any competition. So,
true.
I wish that there was an NFL 2K or something like that. But
Australian retailer Game outed the new Call of Duty map pack called Escalation, which is coming out May 5th. There's no pricing information yet, though Call of Duty packs are typically overpriced at $15. It'll probably be $15.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to bet. There's no reason they wouldn't when it's proven time and time again that people are willing to pay it.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Good for you if that's what you want to spend on it.
Yeah, go have
Don't
fun.
complain about Call of Duty anymore. Yeah, we have so many people that complain about Call of Duty in every first-person shooter thread or whatever. It's but someone out there is buying this shit.
1 in 10 homes in America.
Was that 1 in 8?
Yeah, something like that.
A lot of you are buying it.
Yeah.
And I don't think
the most offensive part about that to me, to get offended again, is just, and it's not their fault, it's not Call of Duty's fault, it's just parents' fault, that I have all these friends that are like, oh yeah, my 8-year-old cousin plays that. I'm like, what? Your 8-year-old cousin plays that with a headset? Like, what the fuck is wrong with those parents, man?
That's parents got to get on the ball.
It's not like
man.
they're slapping women.
Yeah, no, it's true, but they also have horrible things where children get to see people get their knees blown off and stuff like that. I'm just like, who there?
Get them ready for real war. Now, you see how the wars we're involved in? We need soldiers.
It just mostly bothers me that their parents are so ignorant that what these games have in them.
And they'll blame it on TV and they'll blame it on gaming instead of just blaming it on bad parenting,
exactly.
which is what
Not
it is.
being involved
Paying
in kids'
attention
life
to the fact that you're buying this game for your child.
Yeah.
Listen, that's by the way the big problem. Like I grew up. I played a lot of games from a very, very young age,
Me too.
And yeah, we all did. And it's like, my parents were still there to make sure I did my homework, and they were still there to make sure I wasn't watching TV all the time. And they'd go outside and play, and I did really well, and in school. And I played hockey year-round and all those things. Like, I did a lot of different things. Like, you don't have to just sit in front. I still got in plenty of game time. I still played everything I wanted to play, but there was balance. And
The
that's
only
people
reason
don't
my
have.
parents let me play games as much as I did is because I seemed like I was otherwise doing well in everything else. Other respect. I had not completely forgotten social, times and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. You go sleep over at your friend's house. I used to go play hockey. You go to school and do
Video
well. And you go
games.
play baseball with your friends. You do those things, and then you play games.
My parents realized that video games for me were very much so a social thing. Like I was hardly ever just playing by myself. I was always playing with friends.
Exactly, man. Yeah, sometimes I almost wish that we could go back, like, just temporarily and, like, to game culture when it was when we were all growing up, where you gathered around, you all, like, went over to a friend's house, gathered around on the couch, like, got snacks, and then just played, like, played Mortal Kombat, or just played, like, Street Fighter or something, Mario Kart. I mean, there's
Sneak a few beers out of our dad's fridge.
I never did that.
Experiment
didn't
with each
either.
other in the back room.
But
Now we're talking.
How does it work for you? Oh.
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm offended.
You're offended. No, and I still remember when I would fill up giant bowls of snacks, put them down I had like a little entertainment center in my basement, right? We like built a room for video games in my house. And I would have all my friends over, and we would all just play fucking Mario Party and be hysterical the entire time.
We would go buy 100 tacos and 100 burritos from Taco Bell
No way.
and stay up on it.
100?
Yeah. You can't do
$100.
that in one order. So we would have to go like 5 of us and just do like 20 at a time.
That's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would you possibly need 100 tacos?
You're staying up all night playing video games.
Man, I feel like, are you an immigrant to this country? Like, do you not realize what it means to be American? I did it because I fucking can.
Yeah.
And then I
Amen.
got in my truck.
When they installed the 24-hour Krispy Kreme down the street from me, that's what we did. We'd play video games and we'd go get 24 donuts at 3 in the morning.
All right, I guess. All right. To be fair, like my friends of like a group of 6 to 7 would go to the 24-hour McDonald's drive-through
There you
like
go,
at 4 in the
29 cent
morning.
hamburgers.
No, and we would be like, so they had a 50-piece chicken McNugget deal for like $10, and we'd be like, we would like one, if not maybe 2 of those orders, please. And we would always like give them a warning, like we're like, hey, so hope you guys are ready because we're about to order 100 fucking chicken McNuggets, and they'd be like, and they'd know us. Yeah, the drive-through workers actually came to know us.
Me and my friends didn't smoke pot growing up, but there was definitely one time we went to Taco Bell and all of us had $20 bills, all 5 of us in the car. And, or no, 4 of us. There was 4 of us and we all had 20s, and no one wanted to break change or buy food for the others. So we're like, well, I guess we're just going to have to drive through the drive-through 4 times.
Nice.
So we did, and then as we came around the 3rd time, the girl looked at us so strange, and we're like, we're sorry, we have 4 20s. And we're just like, oh, because we must have come across as so high. Because it's like 3 in the morning, and we're just buying like obscene amounts of Taco Bell.
I will also never. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell one more story. All right,
I'm
buddy?
furious. This is a conversational podcast.
It was me, my buddy Frank. I think my friends Grant and Kevin. They're in the back seat. We're in the McDonald's drive-thru. We're all just fucking sitting there. All right, waiting for our food. And this like shady dude is just like walking through the dark, like coming up to our car. And I was like, the fuck is this guy? What's happening? And then like, so he like knocks on the window, and I'm like, well, this is not good. So I like lower the window just a little bit, and my buddy Frank is in the passenger seat, and the dude's like, you guys need some weed? And my buddy Frank is like, no, we're straight, bro, thanks. And he's like, oh, because I could have sworn I heard you say. And then he walked away. No, we were in a car. We were like in a sealed car, and this guy is like about to say that he heard us say something.
That is a genius, enterprising man, though.
Oh my God!
You go to a place that serves horrible food for you late at night, and he's like, "Look, you guys probably already have some, but you might be out now."
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
man.
he is.
Oh, it was so funny.
I just will say one thing that I won't act like all my gaming was social because it certainly wasn't.
Oh, mine either.
Like, 'cause I played a lot of JRPGs when I was a kid and stuff. Sure. But a lot of it, even then, like I remember being like 6 or so or 7 when Final Fantasy 4 came out, 2 on SNES. My brother used to like everyone would go to bed. My brother was 18 at the time, and then like when everyone went to bed, he would like come knock on my door and be like, "Come on," and sneak me into his room, and then we played Final Fantasy 4 until late, like early in the morning, or whatever, on school nights, which was really stupid. When I was a kid, yeah, it was like totally irresponsible. But it was fun. And then like playing with Mario Party is a good example. I used to go to my friends, but then we would play Mario Party for a few hours, and then we go out in the pool and like.
Exactly.
Have fun, do those kinds of things.
You guys
experiment on each other.
That was Greg's thing. But like the point is that there was balance, and I feel like that's what's lacking today is there's no balance. You know,
well, that's a broad stroke statement. I mean, I don't know if it's balanced as much as there's just video games are more prevalent, and there's a lot of bad parents out there who don't pay attention to what
if we're having a get off my lawn old man moment, I feel like it's also because all these kids have cell phones and everything too. So they feel way more connected with their friends than I ever did. So I was constantly always going over to their friend's house because I was like, man, I need social interaction.
I remember back in the day when like Dick Tracy came out, and I was like, how awesome would it be if me and all my friends had Dick Tracy watches, so you could like communicate and say party over here, and and now everybody has that technology and more at their fingertips.
Do you remember when the phones you used to actually like have to like, oh shit, I need to go home to call this dude so he can come over, and you have to like go, oh man. It was amazing time before.
It was strange too, like just answering the house phone, you know, like and like, oh, my dad's not here right,
not knowing who's on the other side.
Oh, my dad's not here right now. Take me to write down the message. Like by the year 2000 or so, everyone in my house was just ignoring the house phone.
You screen the call. It's not for me. Let the answer machine.
I loved that I was talking to my mom on the phone like at one point, and she was like, yeah, I think I think me and Dewey, who's my stepdad, I think we're finally going to just give up the house phone. I really don't know why we still have one.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's totally true. You just don't need a landline
No, you
anymore.
don't. It's dumb.
Anyways,
Moving on.
speaking of really dumb things, Dragon Age 2 is selling very well. According to BioWare, Dragon Age 2 has passed the million sold mark.
That's
Million
dumb?
It's
sold.
dumb. You don't like?
No, I think it's awesome actually. Million sold. See that I appreciate that they're like we sold 1 million. I swear people have this totally misconstrued idea now of what is success. Like they're like, oh, so and so game only sold a few 100,000. What a failure. You kidding me? Like back in the day, that would have been like a success for anything. Like as far as I'm concerned, as long as they make money, it should be considered a success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
You're in the green, cool. Or black,
In the black.
It's called the black.
whatever. I don't fucking know. I don't know about those finances.
Let me tell you about how business works.
Let me tell you
You got the
about-
CFO, and then you got like 3 heads.
It's like Cerberus down there. How does this business work? Well, we got this dog out back. He guards the gate still.
Final Fantasy V is coming to the PSN, PlayStation Network as a PS1 to the PSN to the PlayStation Network as PS1 Classic. At least in Europe, no word on North American release.
I'm sure it'll come.
I'm sure it will too because Square realizes they're like
They
Nintendo.
wanna make money.
They can make money off of re-releasing.
Now, here's the interesting thing: is like, why 5 and not 6?
Or 7. Actually, well,
Seven's already out.
7, yeah, came.
7, 8, 9 are out. 5 obviously is going to be the anthology version of the game that we got in 1999 on PlayStation, which is cool.
Obviously.
But that's the first translation of the game, and that's obviously already running on PlayStation. But I can't help but wonder, like, what's going on with 6. 4's been getting a lot of attention. I'm playing 4 on PSP right now. Obviously, we played 4 extensively. There was a 4 remake on DS. Where is 6? And that's kind of what I'm wondering: is are we going to find a little something out about what they're doing with Final Fantasy 6?
I wish again it was an audio video podcast. You got these. We're gonna find
fingers?
something out. You're on the internet there,
Yeah,
finding
yeah,
out.
no.
Okay, you're on,
Is that what you do on the internet?
he's on the keyboard.
He's like a little
He's
mantis
control
hands.
tabbing around his screen. He's all over the place.
I want a Final. I'll tell you what. I want a Final Fantasy 6 remake really, really bad, like really bad,
How bad?
really bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So much so that he would go shoot people in public for it.
That's not true.
That's never true.
I would actually. I mean, I would actually do something incredibly just crazy to get a Final Fantasy VII remake. Like I would do things that you just can't even imagine.
How does yours work? Codemaster's upcoming FPS, Operation Flashpoint, Red River, has been delayed. It was originally slated to come out April 26th. Now it's June 7th. That's like E3, right? It's like where
It's the same day Infamous comes out.
games are sent to
Red
that.
River.
So now Infamous is going to sell awful because Red River's coming out.
Yep. Also, EA is working on a new Burnout game. Surprise, surprise. It's called Burnout Crash, and it will be released on 360 and PS3. No other information yet is known about the upcoming title.
I hope Dave Matthews does the intro song
What would you say?
I'm sure this crashes.
or the Crash song.
Man, one of my friends has
What would you
been the most hard.
Don't buy the
I was just saying, I have a buddy who has been the most hardcore Dave Matthews Band fan for since DMB was around.
The fans are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he actually just travels around the country sometimes, just following DMB.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I have friends from college. My friend Abby and my friend Aaron that have probably seen them like 30 or 35 times, I imagine. And I've seen 311 20 times, and I thought that was a lot. But it's
20?
Yeah.
You've seen 311 20 times?
Yeah.
I haven't
You
even
are
seen
a
my
fan.
own brother play that many times. And he's been a musician my whole life.
20 times.
Does
in
anybody
7
care about
states.
this Burnout game?
No, I don't.
I'm predicting there will be crashes in it.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
also-
it's Crash mode again.
I'll
That's what everybody
I'll totally play more Burnout.
wanted. Okay.
Yep.
And then White Knight Chronicles 2. Coming.
Oh yeah.
It's coming.
Come to the
this summer.
PS3.
are you, Clemens?
Oh, not at all. And I'm so glad Colin is not on the guides team anymore
Yeah,
because
I'll
he can
review it.
actually review that.
That's fine. I actually didn't. I didn't hate the White Knight, the original. I didn't think the original White Knight Chronicles was even a good game, but I thought it was passable game. You know?
I just think that.
But you beat it. I didn't beat it.
When you have semi-broken combat, you have failed to make a good game at all.
I enjoy semi-broken combat every so often.
Do you? Okay, cool. That's why you enjoyed. No, never mind. I was gonna try and burn you on something, but there's no point.
Colin.
Yeah.
Burnout's not out.
No.
But if I wanted to buy a game this week, where could I go to find out what games had come out?
I don't know because we don't have the
What?
list of stuff.
Well, Red Faction came out this week.
No. You're getting ahead of yourself
I don't
there,
think.
buddy.
All right, so I forgot to get the list for
Oh,
the official
PSN
IGN list of
update.
upcoming PlayStation software on other platforms by the IGN editors. But I don't think anything came out. You said maybe a Cabela game came out.
There
this
was like
week?
a couple of hunting games that came out
Okay,
this week.
but nothing else.
Yeah. Like
some of that.
This was a busy morning for us here. So I
No
forgot.
problem. I have
Clements,
your...
what came on the digital front?
I got your downloadable fix right here. All right, so for PlayStation Plus users, as was mentioned earlier, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Dual Invaders Minis are free and exclusive to PlayStation Plus subscribers.
Finally.
Anyway, here we go. Downloadable games. We got Star Drone for $7.99.
Dude, I didn't
It's
like
a
it.
high-speed action thriller with a mix of arcade action, pinball, breakout physics, and collect
You
the
watched
objects.
me play this a while
You might as
ago.
well have
Really?
just described it is a game with game elements.
Yes.
You remember you're like this little ship and you have to like
It does
Oh,
have
I
games.
remember.
Stuff and pick
Oh,
up
so
things.
that's the game that just came out?
yeah, it was like a free flash game I think on the PC, right?
Yeah, that game looked whack, actually.
And then I don't think we're reviewing it just because it's
Looked
like
whack.
It's $7 for this free game. That
I know exactly
we
what
don't
you're
really
talking
enjoy.
You say we're whacked? Who said we're whacked?
I said we're whacked.
Red Faction Battlegrounds is also available.
Colin's
and
been playing that. How's it coming, Colin?
It's
It
not
looks
very
not
good.
good.
No.
I'll review it tomorrow.
Okay.
game demos. SOCOM 4 U.S. Navy SEALs multiplayer beta is available this week, as well as Russian Attack and Red Faction Battlegrounds demo. Cool. Also,
Cool story,
turning page. Oh yeah, Stacking the Lost Hobo King is also available this week. That is DLC for
And if you got that for free off
Double
of
Fine
your
Stacking.
PSN Gold account, why not buy the DLC and show them a little love if you like it?
PSN Gold account. I don't know what that is.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that is.
You're out of
That's
your
some-
element.
PlayStation Plus, but the Plus is gold. They represent it as a gold fucking plus thing.
That's true.
Okay.
I always
Maybe
look at
that's
it
what
as
they
kind
should
of
call it.
yellowish.
PlayStation Gold
Yeah.
fucking plus thing.
Fucking plus thing. Also, PSP Minis, we have 321 Super Crash packaged with Dr. Mini Games.
Dr. Mini Games. Yes.
Dr. Mini Games.
It's the best name ever.
Also, Fish Tank.
That's a pretty inspired name.
Also, next week is coming Toaster Browser. Screensaver.
Fish Tank.
Dr.
Oh my
Mini
God.
Games and Fish Tank.
Rubenstein and Co. are running out of ideas.
I think the baby's taking over.
The baby is taking
Baby
over.
Rubenstein's been making these
Fish
games lately.
Tank.
Pick of the week. Lost Hobo?
Dissidia. Duodecim.
Lost Hobo? Stacking DLC?
I guess.
I've
I don't
read
know.
good things.
I haven't played Stacking yet.
I would say Lost Hobo. So far, the Double Fine guys have been on fire with their downloadable games.
Yeah, they really found their
well,
what they should be doing, their market.
I'm more excited for Trenched, actually. I think that game's gonna
That's
be
fair.
cool.
Trench, I've only seen it in action at PAX, and I was like, eh.
Meh.
You know what downloadable game I'm excited about? It's unrelated, but we did put up a preview of it this week.
What's
Out-
that?
Is Outland.
Yes, Outland is awesome.
Housemarque's new game.
Outland is
Yeah,
awesome.
Housemark is awesome.
That game
Outland
was
is
a lot of
the
fun.
game from the Out of This World people?
No.
No,
No.
Housemark, like
From
Dead
Housemark.
Nation,
They did the-
Superstar
Oh,
HD.
oh.
It's the, you're running around like you.
So is
exist between two
Outland
planes.
also a twin stick shooter?
No, it's not.
No, it's a platformer with like some puzzle elements and stuff. I played it at PAX. Really, really fun.
It's really good. Like
It was
I
right
was-
around the corner from where remember when you ran into me when I was getting the Call of Juarez demo?
Yeah.
Quick aside, don't be excited for Call of Juarez.
Man,
right
that-
around the corner from that was Outland.
That
Yeah,
game
was
looked
great.
like unpolished ass.
Yes, Call of Juarez did.
Yeah.
It did.
I want to see a polished ass, son.
Well,
Anthony dropped them drawers. Cool.
I was about to say something mean, so I won't.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right, that's fair.
Really?
Well, it's probably better that you don't.
Jeez. All right, pick of the week.
Mean to
Hobo
me?
King. Like Anthony said, if you got it for free, go ahead, nail it.
We should do trophy tips this week too.
Just the tips. All right, what do you got for me?
So let's talk a moment about Tomb Raider Collection.
Let's do it. That's been out. Clements reviewed it.
Yeah. Here.
It's pretty good for trophies. I got the
Yeah,
platinum
where
in
is that?
Tomb Raider Legend.
How long did it take?
Took me like 15 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And then I'm playing Tomb Raider Anniversary right now, and I'm getting the trophies in that. That's a pretty. I'm using a walkthrough because I'm really bad at solving puzzles.
Yeah.
So that one I'll get the platinum in that eventually too, maybe this weekend.
Okay.
And then Tomb Raider Underworld. I don't know what the story is with the trophies in that, but it's a package like Sly, where if you're looking for trophies, you might as well just pick it up or whatever. And I gotta be honest, I'm gonna write maybe a story about it in the next couple weeks. But playing these games has given me a revitalized appreciation of Tomb Raider.
Really?
To be honest with you,
That's
yeah.
interesting. Why is that? Just because you're like, oh, this
Revitalized.
is funner.
Because I was talking to my girlfriend about it. Speaking of things that be offended about, Anthony, is this. When we think of Tomb Raider, we think of Lara Croft. When we think of Lara Croft, we think of her how well endowed she is, right? I mean, that's like kind of her shtick, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm wondering is like, why are we so focused on those things? Like, why do they even do that to her to begin with? Obviously, it's to get that male draw. But when you really get to know the character, like she's
Intelligent.
an intelligent archaeologist. She's well spoken. She's an adventurer. She's good at using guns and going through temples. I mean, she's a talented woman. But then they have to like sexualize her, and I'm wondering like, well,
I
that's
think they're
kind of
trying to get away with that with the new one.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're trying to abandon that.
it's kind of whack because like it was never really necessary.
There's whack again.
Yeah,
You're bringing it back.
I am bringing it back.
I think they felt beholden to it just because the original game had that appeal to it. So then somehow they felt like they had to stick with this character.
Now, here's this is an argument. Man, we're repeating a little bit. We had this discussion on Unlocked a little bit yesterday. But here's an argument that might be controversial, but I don't think there's any problem with having a well-endowed female character in a game. But it's all about how that character is presented. So if Lara Croft is, just happens to be really curvy, but she's wearing like the appropriate clothing, and the camera like has is just treats her as a character on screen. Like I think that's fine. And actually, I was this is weird, but when I was playing the Lara Croft whatever collection, when I was playing that, I was actually more attracted to the character than when she's just going around on screen like doing her cool acrobatics and like moving around like a human being.
Yeah.
I thought that was more interesting and appealing than like when the camera like zooms in on her chest and it's like, oh hey, look at this, yeah.
Yeah,
I actually want to see her like jump around and do cool shit that I can't do in real life.
I think it's perfectly fine to have good-looking characters, but you're right. It's like you can have a good-looking character like Nathan Drake, right? Who's like a handsome, charming man, but he dresses like a dude that's going out and doing these things you expect would do it. Whereas she's like, I'm going to go into this jungle where there's going to be all these horrible things. I'm going to wear shorts that are barely going to cover my ass.
Yeah.
And then my boobs, whatever.
Top, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing is like the opening sequence of Tomb Raider Anniversary. She's going into this temple in Peru, whatever. It's snowing, and she's got her shorts on and like her midriff showing, which is like that's cool. But like I guess what I'm saying is like
That's cool. That's cool.
I mean that's fine, but like I guess what I'm saying is like that sex appeal isn't really necessary because I actually really got to enjoy the character just by
Exactly.
listening to her talk.
Exactly.
And like the
I totally agree.
But like having not played a Tomb Raider game since Tomb Raider 3 on PlayStation, which I got for Christmas in 1998. So I mean, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like I that was my lasting impression was like, oh, it was this girl with pixelated boobs, and that's why everyone cares about her, and it was kind of lame. And I wasn't really even into that game at the time, and I just wanted to try it. But now I'm going back, and I'm like, this is a cool character, and like I want to go back and play these other games. And it kind of sucks that people on the outside, like me, even in the games industry, look at her as being just a sexualized woman when really she's actually a really cool character. She's like one of the coolest characters I've encountered in a long time.
And I think they're trying to combat that with the new game. That's their whole goal.
If they had just treated that character differently from the start, she could have been another Samus. Like, you know what I mean? Like if she was just designed a little bit differently, the costumes, like, costume design was different, and then camera angles.
But
are
in a
different.
way, we're ignoring when she came out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was so long ago. In like the splash she made, like as many people who knew Tomb Raider, it would have been less if there wasn't a nude code fiasco, and if there wasn't two huge breasts on the cover of the game.
I understand that, and
I understand what you're saying. Now the game's progressed so far. Why didn't they? But Anniversary, of course, was redoing what the first game was, right on the PS2.
I actually thought it was really fucking brilliant, and this is gonna make me sound terrible. Like the beginning of Underworld, the first stage that you're in Tomb Raider Underworld, which is, I guess, it's the latest one before the one they're working on now.
She's in a wetsuit.
She's in a wetsuit. This is what's brilliant about that. It's incredibly practical, and it makes total sense. But you still get to enjoy that, like, okay, there's this physically fit, really attractive woman, and she's wearing something that she has to wear for scuba diving, And yes, it was, like, unzipped a little bit at the top, and that probably could have not happened. But like, at that point, I was like, hey, that totally makes sense. It's an attractive character. She's wearing a wetsuit, no problem. Contextually for the environment,
I will
makes
say
sense.
that Tomb Raider games, speaking of like her being a good character, have always had a bad disconnect though, with like the same thing that happens in something like Grand Theft Auto 4, where you're like, oh, this Nico Bellic guy, he's actually like, you kind of feel for him. He's like an immigrant trying to make his way, except for the times when you're just going in between
Killing
missions
people for no reason.
and driving over people, and there's no like him speaking like, oh, this is probably a bad thing.
Why am I doing this?
Exactly, and it's the same thing with Lara Croft. She is supposed to be a smart, brilliant archaeologist, and all that bitch does
Is kill tigers.
It kills endangered species and destroys relics. She sees a pot. She's like, oh, cool, 1,000-year-old piece of pottery. Kick. I want that fucking gem in there.
Then she drunkenly jumps to her death.
Yes, that's just a disconnect with gameplay versus story.
I know. I just
but
think that's something they should try and address.
No, I agree.
it would be cool if she had if the player could opt to use like a tranquilizer gun on animals.
Or how about just have something where she does more archaeology? She's supposed to be like an archaeologist. She
Yeah,
doesn't do anything.
I think that'd be really cool. Like, why does she even have to have? She can have a pistol, but like, why does she have to brandish it all the time? You know.
Or like honestly,
Dangerous
like
environments.
that game I think is just as exciting when you're doing platforming and puzzle solving. It almost doesn't
That's
need
what
the
I always
shooting
like.
mechanics.
I always like Tomb Raider for those moments and not for having to fight a bear.
And
Yeah,
in
the combat's broken. I
In
think.
Yeah, the
fact,
combat's
the
lame.
combat in Legend I thought was broken.
The
and
combat is
dumb.
lame. I mean, it's so bad
Really dumb.
that they have to just have you auto lock on. So basically, all you're doing is jumping around and shooting
I mean,
and pressing a button.
that's one of the reasons I love Uncharted. Is it's like, hey, let's have all this awesome platforming and puzzle solving. Oh, BTW, we also have a combat system that works. It's
It's
like a
fun,
legitimate
yeah.
shooter.
And again, you're also fighting bad guys. That makes sense.
Yeah, Drake is one of the most notorious mass murderers of all time.
That's true though.
But
He has to defend himself.
but it's
dude.
it's fun. Like it's funny. Like I guess I never really made, having played Tomb Raider so long ago and then kind of forgetting about it, making the connection of like there would be no Uncharted without Tomb Raider, and it's like it's kind of funny playing these games and kind of really coming to terms with that. You know, that Uncharted owes everything to these Tomb Raider games, but
Yeah.
they have a strong male lead instead, like Anthony said, and he's a smart guy too, but he's like not overtly masculine without his shirt, trying to appeal
Yeah,
to a
and that's the
woman
other thing.
or
He's
something.
not even overtly masculine to the point where he's not like a Marcus Phoenix where nothing scares him. He gets scared. That's like why you love him, because he gets scared, he gets afraid, he gets heartbroken.
He says what
gets
you're
hurt.
thinking. He says what you're
Exactly.
thinking a lot,
He
too,
is
right?
like a real human being.
When you know, looks like there's a shit ton out there. More like 2 shit tons. That's not what I was thinking. All right, we've done some good today. Let's answer some more questions.
yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
Colin.
Yes.
I got one for you here.
Okay.
At least I think this was you. Jack's calling you to task. Of course, Jack wrote into Beyond at IGN.com. You can do the same if you have a question you want to be on the show. He says, great podcast. Just like to say on the recent podcast, you mentioned that Infamous was a better game than Arkham Asylum. Blasphemy. No, it isn't. Arkham Asylum is insane, and which makes Infamous look like a game for 2-year-olds with its average narrative and quirky controls.
Comic
Just
comeback.
wondering if the culprit would care to elaborate. I think it was you, right? Didn't you say?
Yeah, I said that. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's an opinion. Second of all,
Okay, calm down. Don't get all cranky.
no, I'm not cranky.
All right.
Infamous is a great game. It's a huge sandbox game. I mean, I think I liked Arkham Asylum a lot. I think Arkham Asylum was an awesome game, and it gave you. I mean, it took a lot of elements from games I really enjoy, which is something I really liked about it. But it gave you more of an illusion of it being a sandbox, and it was actually much more closed in than I would have liked. The one cool thing that it does, which I wish Infamous did too, although it would really be impossible, is you're able to go in and out of buildings, and then you're exploring the terrain around the areas as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's like saying, someone said something to me in a comment on a Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3 story I wrote, which Anthony has read through the comments, whatever. And he said, comparing Mega Man 2 to Mega Man 3 is like, and which one's better is like saying, is it better to have $1 million or $2 million? And I kind of feel like that's a great analogy in this. It's like Arkham Asylum is a great game. Infamous, in my opinion, is even better. Infamous was the best game of 2009, in my opinion, hands down. Yeah. So.
I love how much you love it. It makes me happy. I love seeing people happy.
And if any game beat it that year, it was Shadow Complex, not Arkham Asylum. But
Arkham Asylum beat it in the Greg Miller poll.
yeah, you think
I
so? You think
I
Arkham's
reviewed
better
them
than
both. This was the best part of having the 100-point scale is that I gave Uncharted a 9.1, I gave Infamous a 9.2, and I gave Arkham Asylum a 9.3.
So they all got 9.0s then.
Yeah, I guess they'd all be on a level playing field now, Colin.
Right up there with Dissidia Duodecum.
Dissidia
Oh,
Cockham, I believe.
By the way, can I another conversational podcast,
do.
right? All right. I found out that I've been wrong the entire time.
Hit me
Now
with
I know that we all jokingly call Dissidia Ducocum,
Yeah.
which is fun and it's funny, lolsville. But I've always been saying, but the actual pronunciation is duodecum because it's like duodecium, which is like the Latin or something. And I mean, like, that's just like, it's a hard C or whatever. Now, technically that's right, but everyone in the game, I got to a point in the game where now every time you boot it up, like a character will say the title of the game as it comes up on the screen, it's just like a little bonus feature.
Yeah.
They all say duodecim. So I guess according to the game itself, it is duodecim.
According to the game.
Are there 2 C's or 1 C?
It's 1C.
Oh, I guess I could say that decimal.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a hard C, and even Square Enix, like representatives of the developer/publisher, they told me it's duodecum, And the game does not think that. The game thinks it is doing
Could just be a
this.
voice acting error, just like origami.
Well,
I-
The
no, but-
origami killer.
Well, that's true, but like everyone in the
yeah, Mega Man.
we must defeat that, Mega Man.
I love that. I love the Mega Man 8 voice acting because it's clear they did it in one take, and I go, let's get that out of
Yeah,
here.
and they got a homeless man from off the street.
They make
to do
mistakes,
the
and they
sound
just
of-
keep it like they stumble over their lines. It's so good. So that's why that game sucks.
That's a good question. When we like that's how he actually sounds. He's terrible.
We have to get Dr. Wily.
get Dr. Wily.
Colin,
Yes.
Good times.
Christian has an easy question for you.
Okay.
I was just wondering if you guys still record podcasts during the summer.
No, we're off from school, so we go home. We go home.
This is our career. This is our career, Christian. There will
We're
still be
always
podcasts.
here.
during the
Motherfucker, man,
summer.
I wish I got summer break still.
Yeah, you would.
Nate writes in and says, "This is Nate. I was curious who's reviewing SOCOM 4. Thanks. Jack DeVries reviewing SOCOM
Son
4.
of a
Oh, really?
Look for it next week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Son of a
Somehow he beat Anthony
bitch.
Gallegos to the punch on that one.
Because I asked Greg, and Greg said, yeah, you can review it, but then I forgot to ask Damon, who actually writes up the calendar, and Damon gave it to Jack.
Whoops. Yes.
Given the time constraints you lads and ladies are under, as per your occupation, Anonymofo says, if you had more time in the day, how would you spend it? Please note, if the answer is play more video games or work more, please specify what you'd like to play more or work on. Please try to think of aspirations outside of these two things, i.e. I would like to spend more time exercising with my family, write the great American novel, etc. This is for everybody.
That's a good question.
Any mofo.
Let's see. I would love to have more time in the day to play games for fun, if only to expand my knowledge base of recent games. Because I'm currently under a very strict schedule, which I will not bore people with because I talked about before. But I try and work out almost every day. And after a train ride home, and then working out, and then going to pick up dinner, and then eating, and then stretching, and then cleaning, I'm basically like, okay, shower, and then go to bed. Like there's no time there for me to like sit down for an hour or two to play a game, and it kind of sucks. But that's a personal choice that I've made.
Anthony, what would you do?
3 things.
Yeah.
1, I would learn more about modding Unreal 3 and doing more programming.
Okay.
That's been something I've been trying to learn slowly but surely.
You're sitting on your phone.
2, I would spend more time painting my Warhammer figures because I have a whole dwarf army I'm slowly but surely trying to get to.
Yes.
And 3, I would work on this book idea I've had for a long time
Hell yeah.
about people living with bugs. That's what it's about. People living with giant bugs as a source of energy. I started writing it. I never finished it.
This sounds awesome.
Is this
I want to read
nonfiction?
this story.
It's not fiction.
Nonfiction.
Colin.
The one thing that came to mind, and Anthony already touched on it, is I've had an idea for a book for a long time, maybe 4 years or so, and I really started to develop in my mind during when the recession began, because it has to do with the end.
Is
of
it
the,
alternate history?
Well, it has to do with the end of the United States.
Jeez.
The Colin Manifesto.
But I really think it's an awesome idea. I really love the idea. It's just I don't have time to really flesh it out.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would do. I play enough games as it is, and I watch enough Roseanne, so I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What about you, Greggy?
Mine would be simple. Yeah, I'd play more games. I would get more trophies. And I would also,
You're gonna need more trophies.
yeah. I would also email more. Be on the my IGN more. I feel like I don't have enough time, but I like reading all those blogs. That's the best thing about this iPad. Now I can lay in bed and read the blogs. But still, even then, I'm tired by the end of the day. I don't get to them all.
That's honestly one of the only reason I play PSP the most. Like I actually play it more than my consoles now, is because after I'm done showering and I get into
you lay in bed.
I can play in bed before I go to sleep. It is the.
You don't have your TV in your room?
No. Although there's no room for it. The unfortunate thing is there have been many cutscenes that I don't remember because I finish watching them right as like my brain is sort of like starting to shut down. So I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be like, what the fuck happened to that character? I do not remember his fate. And that's a shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Final question or comment. It's back to the vegetarian argument.
Oh, good.
that,
Oh, here we go.
Continues to rage.
Anthony's
Anthony
a
is a vegetarian, so we'll be able to, Anthony, have you been kept apprised of the situation here? The other 2 podcasts ago, Colin called vegetarians and vegans stupid.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that.
And the Beyond Nation was offended and wrote in many an email
I didn't
last
say
week
that.
to yell at him. Then they talked it out a bit. But Colin still didn't come off that well, so there are a lot of comments on the article.
I'm sure Colin said something like, some of them can be stupid or something.
He didn't
And
even say that.
It wasn't that they're all stupid. I don't think Colin would make blanket statements.
All
Like
right, well,
that.
before we get any further, Matt wrote in to tell you, Colin, of course, eating eggs is not eating chickens because they're not
I know.
fertilized.
I had the conversation with one of the women at the
meet and greet.
meet and greet.
Thanks to everybody who came to the meet and greet on Eddie's. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, we had the WonderCon meet and
yeah.
greet on Saturday. Awesome
So
turnout. You guys were
much
great.
fun.
Sorry, we forgot about that.
Loved all of you.
Matt also says, I believe the strongest argument in favor of vegetarianism is that it is the most sustainable diet to consume on a large scale.
I don't know. Yeah, if I was going to make an argument about vegetarianism, it has nothing to do anymore with the moral aspect of it. The moral aspect may be part of the reason I personally do it, but
Yeah.
to me, it's more a problem with factory farming. And I'm not saying that there couldn't be farms where they grew meat sustainably, and there are some that do it, but the vast majority of farming and stuff to serve people so cheap is because people are so willing to pay that much more for it, is that it just creates these really horrible environmental situations.
Yeah, I understand that. My main argument was my main argument really was with vegans, which I'm like really annoyed by veganism, frankly. But with vegetarianism, it's just the inconsistency of it. And I brought up something which I'm surprised you didn't read the email. I was saying something. I'm like, why do people have no problem killing plants? Which is laughable. And then someone sent. Did you see that thing?
Yeah.
Someone talked about a New York Times. Yeah, like a New York Times article or whatever, which I looked up because he didn't give us the link, and I read it, and it was basically saying that like we're starting to learn more about how plants are like not necessarily feel pain the way we do, but like
there's a chemical reaction when they get cut.
Yeah, like they know when they're hurt, and they like warn other plants that this is bad around them, like plants to like
Sure.
raise their defenses and stuff. And I guess what I'm just saying is like A, like we're made to eat meat, and B, like we would really be the only species that actively tries to counter our inherent nature of eating what it is.
We're
Also
the only species who
that
tries to
actively
counter
to
a
get
lot
in
of stuff.
space.
I don't know. A lot of monkeys went up there.
Yeah.
It's true.
Sure
they
they
did
were
it
to-
all by themselves.
I'm sure they were totally into that.
But I
Hey,
don't
guess
want-
what? You're not coming back.
But I don't want to talk about the vegetarian vegan thing anymore, especially
Okay,
because
done.
I
Issue
didn't call
table.
anyone stupid. So
Yeah.
All right, fine. Well, calm down. That's it for Reader Mail. Remember to be a part of the show beyond at IGN.com. A long time ago, Phil wrote in about a community beatdown playing Uncharted 2 as my IGN event. That is happening because he's now done with spring break and midterm. So it's happening Sunday, April 10th. If you're interested, go to tinyurl.com/capital. It's my IGN UC2, capital M, lowercase y. The rest is all caps. IGN UC2. Remember, if you want to be a part of us, beyond at IGN.com. You can follow us on the Twitters at IGN. I'm Game Over Greggy. Ryan is Pwom Cider. Colin is No Taxation. Anthony is Chuff Money. Spell that one for him. It's one F.
CHUF money.
There you go.
Hey, Greg.
money.
Take me away.
No, we have two problems.
Take me away.
All right, we have two big problems.
Oh, God, really?
The first big problem is that I know we're already running fairly long, but I forgot to tell you that we need to do a lot time for haiku reading.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Because
that's
we have all our winners.
Okay.
Now, if we don't have time, we can just save it for next week, which is fine. The other big problem is I forgot to get a song for the end of the show.
No,
So let's
we
just do
talked
the
about the
haikus.
song yesterday. We talked about the song yesterday. I got a song and put on your flash drive.
Oh, the song
You
is
took-
set.
Yeah.
Okay,
the song is all
great.
set.
So we can do that, but I'm wondering. I mean, I have 10 haikus here. They're obviously short.
Run them down.
Is that okay? Can
Yeah,
we do
remember,
that?
what are they trying to win?
These are the winners of the Swarm free code giveaway.
Great.
So anyone that I'm reading your haiku, which you gloriously sent into beyond@ign.com, you have won. You should check your email if you haven't already, and you should have a code waiting in your inbox from me with a Swarm code. Enjoy. And thank you for the haikus. Let's read some of the winners. Let's start off with. What?
I'm listening.
Are you meditating?
I'm waiting
All right.
to hear them.
This first one is from Josh Willie.
Oh,
Yes,
Friend of the
Josh.
show.
Yes, friend of the show. Also, the creator of the giant Mortal Kombat chart, which we
Yes.
featured on our site recently. Podcast Beyond starts. Ears perk for news and hijinks. My day is complete.
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
So wait, these are just beyond haikus, not
Beyond
necessarily
haikus.
related to Swarm?
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
okay.
Some of them were, but I chose the ones that I chose. I went in order of when they were received, so like the early bird gets the worm. But I also chose ones that I felt like were high quality. Or
And did
were
these all
offering something.
conform to the actual haiku formula?
575.
Okay,
if I
good.
believe that's correct,
That
which
is
it is.
If I believe that's correct.
If that is
Should
indeed
I
correct.
believe that is correct?
And I checked all of them
Okay.
before, so I counted all the syllables. Next one's from Jeremy. Cherry blossoms bloom, songbirds spread, spring's sweet message, ass to ass beyond.
Nice.
This is from Thomas. PlayStation in dorm, thinking of it makes me warm. I'm so poor, need swarm. Oh, that was good. This is from Nathan. Podcast completed. They wait for the coming storm. The Hellgast are here. Gray has a very. This is one of my favorites. Because Gray did a classic poetry scheme where even though you're finishing the line, you move on to the next one and it continues the sentence, which is a good technique, which I did not expect. Podcast Beyond is the trophy of PlayStation. Never question it. Which is good. Dylan Brown writes, they talk about games. We listen to their voices. The world rejoices. Mm-hmm. From JJ, for Colin and Greg, buying PlayStation Plus is an absolute must.
There you go.
Indeed.
3 more. Here we go. Chip. Thanks, Chip. Welcome to Beyond. Undertaker smashed the wall. Now it's a party.
Somebody needs to send us a fathead Undertaker that we can put on the wall.
Oh, man. This is from Stone. Greg, Ryan, Colin. Beyond giveaway for Swarm. I write this to win. Which I thought was good as well. And last but not least, we have a haiku from Daniel. Play button is pressed. Beyond streams into headphones. How to change a life.
Well played. Well played, everyone.
Oh, man. I love haikus. They're so good. Oh, man.
That was good. Congratulations, everybody. Enjoy Swarm.
Yes.
Courtesy of Ryan Clements.
Yes. And now, yes, thank you to the, oh, no, I forgot the publication, that, or the
Swarm?
publisher. Yes.
It's Ignition.
Ignition?
There you
Yes.
Hothead, right,
Yes.
is the developer.
Yes. And so thank you to both of them for providing us with the codes.
Yay.
Yay. And now, should we end with our special song?
Remember, as always, we end Podcast Beyond on a song.
Why don't you introduce this one?
I will. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it, all right?
You pretty little head.
Yeah, we ended on a song. As always, remember, you can send songs to beyond@ign.com. Today, though, we're picking a show favorite. One, Damon Hatfield has released a new album called Color Beam. This is on his Damon artist name. You can search Damon Hatfield or Color Beam.
Or Color Beam.
On the IGN. Not IGN. On the iTunes. That's the
we
one.
do not sell Color Beam. That would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that'd be bad. But this is the second track off it. It's called First Bass. I believe it's about catching his first fish.
No, it's not.
I thought it was
all.
a story about coming up with his dad, and they didn't really get along. But then
Right.
they
Hey,
bonded
Anthony,
over
how
this
about you
fish.
spread your legs more so I can see your fucking equipment here? Jesus.
Anthony's lounging. He's part of the conversational podcast. It was a joke. Yeah, first bass.
First base.
Base.
It's first base,
Oh,
but
but
it's
it
a play on
spelled
words
funny.
because it's
Yeah.
spelled like the instrument.
First base, everybody.
ha, ha.
Color Beam. Damon Hatfield. Go buy it.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, jeez. Enjoy.